Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. The new County Council looks at the Book Cliffs Highway project. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
Enjoy the beauty and affordable comfort of modern flame natural gas fireplaces. Create carefree moments with your family and friends. Converting from a wood-burning stove to natural gas is easy and can save you time and money. Beautiful designer gas fireplaces feature gas or electronic ignition, high-low flame setting, 2-speed fan systems, and thermostat control. High-efficiency natural gas fireplaces are tomorrow's solution today. For more information, contact Utah Gas Company. We light a better fire.
With warmer days on the way, it's time to come out of hibernation and get out and about again. And we at On the Edge want you to look your best. So why not come in and see our new spring collection in Western and sportswear and what we like to call casual elegance. We also carry a fine collection of accessories. On the Edge, a name to remember.
Building a new home, First Western National Bank offers construction loans and personal service.
It is a pleasure to visit the bank. I feel like we have friends there. It's not just a business situation.
First Western National Bank has an easy loan application process with competitive rates and terms. Meet with friendly local bankers who understand your financial needs.
I'm always treated like a personal friend at First Western National Bank, and I like that.
First Western National Bank, your hometown bank.
John Fogg at Central Utah Insurance is your agent on the scene and behind the scene to make sure you get prompt, efficient response to your insurance claims. John Fogg at Central Utah Insurance, your independent insurance agent, the agent who works for you. Where does the county stand on the Book Cliffs Highway? Here's Ken Davey with a report.
The Grand County Council, in their first regular meeting, has voted against pursuing the Book Cliffs Highway project. In a unanimous 7-0 vote, the Council passed a resolution directing the Road Board to halt expending any more money on the plan until further notice.
County Council desires the opportunity to examine all financial commitments to the Grand County Road Special Service District Number 1, whereas County Council desires the opportunity to examine the goals and mission of the Grand County Road Special Service District Number 1. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Council that until further notice, the Grand County Road Special Service District shall cease any further activity on the Book Cliff Road project, cease any further activity on the Book Cliff Road right-of-way, cease any further activity on RS 2477, cease any further activity that will incur financial obligations beyond those existing prior to March 1st, 1993. Number 5, not engage in any new projects.
The road has been a controversial project since its inception more than 3 years ago. The Road Board, along with the Uinta Road Board, had contracted to carry out an environmental impact statement on the project in their quest to get the approval of the Bureau of Land Management. A public hearing and comment period on that EIS finished in December, and Moab BLM District Manager Roger Zortman told the Council that the public raised a number of questions and concerns.
The main issues of concern from the public review and comment include a lack of cost-benefit analysis, a lack of demonstrated purpose and need for the road, additional biological studies are needed. We found that most of the publics want us to talk about cumulative impact analysis within a document. And fifth, engineering, survey, and design is required in order to define the center line of the road. And those 5 major points are primarily the points that we receive from the public.
And Zortman also said continuing the EIS process would cost some money.
Expend $75,000 for an additional analysis on cost feasibility of the project, complete a biological assessment of T&E species, estimated to cost around $9,000. And 3, after we assemble those costs and that data, We would print the final EIS and mail out 600 copies at $30,000 for that line item. So we're projecting at least for completion of the document at least $114,000.
Not everyone agreed the project should be dropped.
Perfect example of what's ticked me off ever since we started this program. Coming from another source that it shouldn't, we're finding out we're talking about another $115,000 more in more studies and things that we've been told all the time. It was those points he brought up. We was told studied enough to satisfy the NEPA process.
But in the end, the council decided they wanted to make their views known.
We can't really tell the Road Special Service District what to do without jeopardizing the tilt payment to the Road Special Service District, but at the same time, the Roads District is telling us not to tell them what to do, which is, I think, how we got into a ton of trouble in the first place.
It says nothing, it doesn't give you any direction about where to spend the money or where to spend your time. It says not to spend, specifically not to spend it on these items.
The reason I'm in favor of this resolution calling a stop to it is all during the campaign we heard people say, well, let's go with the right-of-way, let's get the right-of-way. It's only another $20,000. Only we've spent this much, let's spend another $20,000. We heard that until I was about blue in the face. And then I came to the last road board meeting and I said, I've heard the 20,000 now is 200,000. You guys vehemently denied that. I guess I was wrong. It was only 114,000 that the 20,000 is growing into. Now, I don't know whose fault that is, but my question is, where does it stop?
That's my question. Right?
Where does it stop? And this is where it stops.
The Road Board receives mineral lease monies on oil and gas production on federal land in the county, but new council members have indicated they might want that money to go to other special service districts in the future, including the hospital and a possible landfill and sanitation district. The council also discussed a number of other items, including the effect BLM regulations will have on film projects, and we'll report on those discussions on our next broadcast. This is Ken Davey for Channel 6.
Grand County's population goes up, and a Moab accident from 2 years ago is featured on national television. We'll have those reports when Channel 6 News continues.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
You should be careful on the roof because power lines are electric and they can hurt you by accident. If you touch the power line, you can get electrocuted. If you see anyone on the roof, remind them of power lines up there. It only takes one, you know. It hasn't been a problem for me because I don't spend much time on the roof.
When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza.
B. Osborne's is the most complete bookstore in southeast Utah. Your complete bookstore for magazines, books, maps, special orders from anywhere, magazines from Europe, newspapers from major cities of the U.S. Need a special gift for that person on your list who is hard to please? Get a gift certificate from B. Osborne's and let them please themselves. B. Osborne's Books and Magazines, 50 South Main in Moab, your bookstore and more.
Services will be held Wednesday in Vernal for Moab resident Kenneth Hayes, who died Monday. He was 69 years of age. He is survived by his wife Helen, by sons Dan of Illinois, Michael of Orem, and Mark of Moab, and by daughters Sandra Hayes Fernandez of Colorado and Sheila Hayes Hibble of Moab. Services will be Wednesday at 2 p.m. at the Vernal Memorial Cemetery. Grand County has grown in the past year, but at a slower rate than the rest of the state. Those numbers come from a recent report from the state's Office of Planning and Budget. While tourist visits have been increasing at a rate of 10 to 15% per year, the permanent population is just inching up. The report said that on the whole, Grand County residents increased by 1.4% between July of 1991 and July of 1992. The state as a whole grew 2.6% over that same period. Only one county, Wayne County, actually lost residents. Most rural communities grew slightly, but along the Wasatch Front, a number of new people moved into the state. The big gainers were Summit County, which includes Park City, which went up by 5%, and Washington County, which includes St. George, which grew by 6.1%. An accident that happened in Moab 2 years ago was featured on national television Sunday night. Eyewitness Video, an NBC program that takes home video from life-threatening situations and produces a dramatic reenactment of the events, aired a segment on the Lionsback accident of 1991.
All of a sudden, they're out of control. And I couldn't do anything about it.
To go four-wheeling, you need three things: a specially equipped four-wheel drive vehicle, rough terrain, and a trained driver. Just outside of Moab, Utah, there's a natural rock formation favored by four-wheeling enthusiasts, but it is so steep and dangerous, it's not recommended.
We had gone down to the Easter Jeep Safari in Moab, and we'd had such a fun weekend. Now we were ready to go home, but we had one more thing that we wanted to do before we went home, and that was, go on Lionsback.
The Lionsback is a sheer rock outcropping that you can run up and down on. It wasn't anything to do with the Easter Jeep Safari. It is just one of the natural wonders that's located in the area that you can get to.
Hang on, Lou, hang on! We'd all kind of watched different people go up and down Lionsback, and then Tina and Sean decided they wanted to drive their Blazer up.
The first time we drove up, Tina was with me, and the adrenaline was really pumping, and we were both pretty excited. When you're going up Lionsback, you're just crawling, you're barely moving because it's so steep.
Okay, there they are on top.
And when you get to the top, it's kind of like a weight's taken off you, and you can kind of relax because you're tense going up. Then you start down, and it's like you want to just mash on the brakes and make sure you don't move at all. But you need to just keep a steady, even pressure on the brakes. You don't want to lock your tires up. After Tina and I got down to the bottom, we were both really excited, and I asked her if she wanted to drive up, and I didn't really think she'd want to. To my surprise, she said yes.
Okay, Tina, doing good. Come on, Tina. When I realized that Tina was driving, call it a woman's intuition, but I felt like Tina was not going to come back down that hill the same way she went up.
Hello, girl.
Tina didn't really seem to have any problems at all with going up. She did really fine. And when we got to the top, we had to turn around. Tina was kind of scared about that because there's not a whole lot of room to turn around at the top. So I got out of the vehicle and I helped her back and forth, and it took a couple of tries to get it turned around.
As Tina started down, I knew immediately she was in trouble because her back brake locked up.
So I told Tina, I said, just ease up on the brakes a little bit. And Tina said, there are no brakes. And at this point, I knew that we were in big trouble.
That was probably the hardest few seconds of my life.
I don't remember the impact. I remember people were immediately there trying to get us out. And I called Tina's name, and she answered me. I wasn't sure how bad she was hurt or where we even were.
It all happened so fast. I mean, I thought I was just dreaming. It was just a bad dream, and I was going to wake up. And when I opened up my eyes, I knew it wasn't a dream.
After the victims had been loaded in the ambulances, that's when I found out that there was a videotape of the accident scene. I received one from a person that was shooting a side angle, and also one from a head-on view.
You guys move, Brandon, and you guys, come on, get back. Oh, come on.
And I was able to watch the accident like I was there. And by using that, my investigation concluded that there was no alcohol used while she was driving the vehicle or at any time. And they were trying everything humanly possible to slow the vehicle down.
I shake every time I see it. It just makes me sick to my stomach knowing that we almost lost our lives. I mean, it could have gone the other way so easily. I learned quite a few lessons from this. Probably the most important lesson is when you're out four-wheeling, you need to be more observant as to what kind of situation you're getting yourself into. I didn't think about any kind of danger or having to get out of it. If I'd have thought about that, I probably wouldn't have gone up there in the first place. I really believe that we had a guardian angel that day. You know, said it was going to be a bumpy ride, but, you know, we'll get you down as easy as we can.
The Hasties say the fact that they were wearing their seatbelts saved their lives. They're also grateful for the quick actions of the emergency response team and hospital staff in their rescue.
It was an open horse show at the Old Spanish Trail Arena over the weekend. Many of the participants were from the Moab area, but a number of others were attracted to town for the show. The horses are graded on appearance, physical stature, and movement. For those who are not involved in horse breeding, some of that criteria is difficult to figure out. But for those with an avocation toward the equine, the competition is intense and challenging. Bringing horse shows to Moab and the attendant revenue generated by accommodating both the horses and their owners was one of the major reasons that the Equestrian Board pushed for funding to build the arena 2 years ago. There were some scattered showers over the weekend, but by Monday it was beautiful in the valley with sunshine and temperatures up in the mid-50s. And look for generally nice skies over the next few days. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for mostly sunny skies through Tuesday. Afternoon temperatures should again be in the mid-50s, overnight lows down to the upper 30s. Long-range forecast calls for the sunshine and patches of clouds to continue right on through Friday, with mercury readings staying nice in the 50s throughout the week. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day. Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Jim Kelly reporting. The County Council looks at the filming on public lands controversy. We'll have that story when the Channel 6 News continues.
Enhance your life by learning. Register now for a class at the College of Eastern Utah in Moab. CEU offers a variety of classes you can apply to a degree, broaden your interests, or just keep up with the changing world around you. Give yourself a new direction. Register for a class now.
When you are making a list of the greatest achievements of this century, please consider Subway's 79-cent round sandwiches. We have taken the great taste of Subway, including our fresh-baked bread, and made it round. So it's highly portable and highly affordable with a low, low, low price of 79 cents. While this great achievement may not change your life as much as the Clapper, our round sandwiches certainly do taste better, and you can get one for only 79 cents.
Introducing the round sandwiches for as low as 79 cents only at Subway.
Hello, my name is Lynn Dish, director at Dish Funeral Home. Talking about death is often difficult. A death in the family may create problems for survivors which can sometimes be alleviated by discussion and pre-planning. We offer pre-planning counseling at no charge. Please contact me at my office for more information or to arrange for pre-planning consultation.
The Grand County Council considered, but then pulled back from a resolution supporting less restrictive federal regulations governing film and other uses of BLM land. That decision was part of the Council's first meeting this week. In recent years, the grandeur of the Canyonlands has become a hot commodity for motion picture and video projects, attracting producers ranging from major theatrical releases to television commercials and print advertisements. Existing regulations stated that such projects were required to wait 30 days after applying for a permit to give other affected land users a chance to protest the project. According to BLM Moab District Manager Roger Zortman, the agency here did not always enforce that regulation.
On some of the proposals for making movies or still photography, we tried to meet the needs of the industry by expediting the authorization. We did it in all cases, give the 45-day review period, the 15-day application period, and 30-day public review and comment period.
But the agency says because of scrutiny over the Slaughter of the Innocents project last fall, involving temporary construction and heavy helicopter use, they have been ordered by Washington to strictly enforce the rules. The new set of regulations is now in Washington, awaiting approval by the Department of Interior to remove that waiting period for both film and other projects.
The new regulations, the final rulemaking that has been promulgated but has not been signed yet, essentially says that the decision that I make or that Roger makes becomes full force and effect, which means that the company can go ahead and put that decision implement that decision immediately, unless an affected interest files a petition for stay or appeal or a notice of appeal. That final rulemaking is in the surnaming process at the Washington office level. What Betty and the Film Commission is trying to do is to get the County Council to adopt a resolution that essentially makes a political statement.
The Bureau of Land Management steadfastly supports the resolution and asks that you pass it and write the Secretary of Interior of your position.
And Councilmember John Hartley decided to introduce a resolution supporting efforts to pass the new rules.
I have been contacted by several members of the Film Commission. I've talked with Scott Groney at length a couple of times, and I've talked with individual members of the Film Commission, not just the director, Betty Stanton, if that's her title. And I have had absolutely no comment from anybody stating that they thought that it was a good idea that the film industry go away from Grand County. And because of those comments and lack of support for dissolving a film industry in Grand County.
But there was concern that the public would be locked out from providing input.
Somebody's asking you to get involved in a political process, and they're not telling you exactly how you're going to be used. And you've heard a lot of bureaucratic snow job. We could sit here and argue for hours before you probably really got what's going on here with these regulatory changes. But what I'd suggest is that There was a problem in the past with just picking a side and voting with it because that's what they said they wanted you to do. And it'd be good now if the council only voted on those things where you really specifically knew what you were voting on and what your vote was for, rather than just picking one side or the other. And I think with this issue, that's what's going on. Nobody's against filming here. It needs to be done right. What I'm saying is that the regulatory change that's been proposed goes too far. If I'm going to vote on something, I'm certainly going to vote no on this resolution unless I hear that there's a process here that seems like it's going to actually give the public a chance to be involved in the big decisions that you're making. Not, you know, I support the easy ones, and I think that this business of tiering things so that the easy projects get quick approval is wonderful, you know. But when somebody wants to do the slaughter of the innocents, I think they ought to do a real serious look at what's going to go on there. And I don't want you to just say, well, we can do anything in certain areas because we've done it before. Because people live there and they were opposed the last time and they don't want it again with no appeal.
I want to compromise. And what I'm proposing is withdrawing this at this time and sitting down with Scott and Ron Griffith and rewriting a resolution that they can live with and that the Film Commission can live with and that the BLM can live with. If Brad, if you want to be involved in that, I got no problem with that.
I don't think that and again, I'm just speaking for myself, Roger can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's the BLM's position to take a position on this. I mean, we have gone through the procedure, the rulemaking is going the way that it always goes. It's taken a little bit longer. I mean, we need decisions in the field in order for us to be able to better manage the public land.
So where does it stand now? Projects must wait the required time unless Interior Department officials in Washington approve individual waivers. The new council carried out other actions as well. They approved a resolution calling for a solid waste management district to run the landfill and oversee county recycling efforts. That district can apply for the right to impose a property tax, but must have that power passed by the voters. That resolution will now go to a public hearing in about a month. The council rescinded the appointment made last month by the County Commission of James Walker to the Mosquito Abatement Board after hearing from 4 other board members. Those board members were split on the question. Charlie Peterson was elected the chairman of the council, a position that carries more responsibility but no more pay. And the council decided that beginning next week, they would hold their meetings at night to allow for more public participation and input. That next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday evening, March 8th at the Board of Education offices. The Division of Wildlife Resources carries out another wildlife transplant, and a new lodging association forms in Moab. We'll have those stories when the Channel 6 News continues.
Hurry down to Family Drug for fast, friendly service. Professional pharmacist Michael Gorman is better serving your family's health needs with computerized key patient profiles. Your patient profile is reviewed for possible allergic reaction or drug interaction problems each time you fill a prescription at Family Drug. Senior citizen discounts are available on prescription drug purchases, and insurance cards are always welcome. Family Drug, where courtesy is contagious.
Building a new home, First Western National Bank offers construction loans and personal service.
It is a pleasure to visit the bank. I feel like we have friends there. It's not just a business situation.
First Western National Bank has an easy loan application process with competitive rates and terms. Meet with friendly local bankers who understand your financial needs.
I'm always treated like a personal friend at First Western National Bank, and I like that.
First Western National Bank, your hometown bank.
Well, welcome to Fat City Smokehouse. We'd like to take this opportunity to show you what we have to offer in the way of smoked meat products. We have our brisket of beef, which we smoke 12 to 15 hours. We have chicken. We have all our own homemade sausages. We have pork ribs. We have baby back ribs. We have what's getting quite famous, our slick burger, which is a half-pound hamburger. We have a vegetarian burger for you vegetarians. We'd also like to invite you folks down to come and check our daily specials out.
It was special delivery to Upper Castle Valley over the weekend. The packages came from the Division of Wildlife Resources, who dropped off and uncrated a gift to hunters and wildlife advocates. It was wild turkeys, brought from South Dakota in an effort to build up the wild population in this region. According to biologist Gary Ogborn, the aim is twofold.
We wanted to supplement the population here on the mountain. It's been declining for the last several years. And secondly was we equipped them with radio collars, and we can get wintering range and summering range and reproductive data off of that, as well as mortality when we can retrieve the collar and determine that.
Residents haven't seen many turkeys around here recently, but Ogborn said turkeys used to be a big part of the local ecosystem.
Historical evidence suggests that the Anasazis, who once lived in this area or region, had turkeys. Since then they've died out, and we've reintroduced them in the past 10 years or so.
The division is hoping these birds can lead to a buildup of a local population.
They should start reproducing this spring, and the usual clutch size is 8 to 12 birds, and don't know as of yet what the survival on those 8 to 12 birds are, though.
A big part of the project are special radio collars attached to some of the birds.
The purpose of the radio collars allows us to locate the animal any time of the year. When we locate it, we can find out what habitat it's using, if it's got any brood or young with it, and get a rough estimate of population by the group sizes that we see.
The transplant was part of a larger effort by the state to increase the turkey population, including releases in the LaSalle area and in the Blue Mountains. The upcoming tourist season is expected to be the biggest ever, with jumps projected in the numbers of visitors at the parks and in the canyons. It means an increasingly important economic role for the tourist lodging industry here in town, and now some of those businesses are looking to increase their political influence as well. One aspect of that campaign is the formation of a new organization, the Moab Lodging Association. According to one of the members, Super 8 motel manager Dave Bierscheid, the group is just now working on its goals.
It's the Moab Lodging Association, and the reason lodging instead of motel, hotel, or something like that, it includes anyone who pays transient room tax to the county.
What is the point of the organization? What do you hope to accomplish?
Well, I think it's like any other organization that represents a particular body or group or organizations or businesses. It's to represent them, whether it be with the county and state, or at a local level to try to resolve problems that may come up and situations that arise because of the industry.
Who is the new group working to recruit?
Anyone who pays transient room tax can be a full member and would have a vote, one vote per establishment. Anyone interested in the industry, I would suggest should come. I mean, it's good contacts. They could visit with folks and know who's really out there doing the business. And I would hope that there are some other people like in the Travel Council and on the Chamber of Commerce that would be interested in what we're doing. I don't think we're doing this to cause anything specific to happen because we don't really know where we're going. But we want to, it's a big industry and it needs to be represented.
And the organization will meet again this Wednesday.
Okay, we hold our meetings the first Wednesday of each month. This Wednesday at noon, it will be held at the Arches Dining Room, and everyone's invited. I would like to have them give me a call at 259-8868 if they're going to go, so I can see how many people we're going to have for lunch. But
the Moab City Council is expected to take another step in the direction of separating the mayor and city administrator. The council meets Tuesday evening and will again discuss a proposal from members Terry Warner and Paul Seibert to rescind the 1984 ordinance that joined the elected mayor position and the appointed administrator position. Right now, Mayor Tom Stock's term expires at the end of this year, and if the two positions are split, it is expected to encourage a number of others to run for the office. The mayor is paid about $1,000 a month, and the administrator about $1,800 per month. In other business, the council will look at buying new playground equipment for the parks as well as purchasing a sprinkler system at both Old and New City Park. Should City Hall move, the current building does not meet legal requirements, and the council will discuss buying property for a new City Hall and police station. Moab Hardware is asking for permission to place sale bicycles on the sidewalk along Main Street. And the city will look at calling a community meeting to lay out priorities for public facilities and capital projects. That meeting will take place Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. at the Board of Education offices. It was the 22nd annual Canyonlands Volleyball Tournament over the weekend with the Women's C Division competition. Teams from throughout the Mountain States area gathered at the high school gym here. The teams may not have been as trained as some of the A and B squads who will be in town next weekend, but the competition was intense. And it was also an opportunity for some local residents to get out on the court. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when the Channel 6 News continues.
Best Value is your locally owned and operated food store, and to be sensitive to the needs of their community, they feature well-stocked shelves, fresh produce, choice meats, major brands, always at competitive prices. But that's only part of Best Value's advantage. They believe in service like special orders and fast checkout for stress-free shopping. So check out Best Value today and check out a satisfied customer.
Furnace not heating like it used to? Get the Trane 2-stage 80 furnace with a low speed for mild conditions and a high speed for extreme cold. It heats your home evenly, efficiently, and quietly. It's hard to stop a Trane.
Your Trane dealer in Moab is Nelson's Heating and Refrigeration.
Shop for new items every day at Briggs Sporting Goods and Hardware. Gear up for spring with camping supplies and outdoor cookware from Briggs. For your home sweet home, Briggs features the latest home and garden items. Relax in this new patio swing designed with a flexible wood chair for hours of comfort. Briggs also features the perfect gift for him or her to complement any special occasion. Stop by and visit with Briggs' new store owners, Kevin and Jody Johnson, a Moab family-owned business for over 30 years.
It was one of those late winter days that make you want to live in Moab. Tuesday had blue skies, warm breezes, and temperatures up into the mid-50s. And look for the perfect weather to continue. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for sunshine and afternoon temperatures up to the 60s on Wednesday, with overnight lows dipping below the 40-degree mark. Some clouds are expected on Thursday, but by Friday it should be back to sunny and warm, highs in the 60s. And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Jim Kelly, reminding you to keep on smiling.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. The Roads Special Service District signed an agreement with Uinta County a few weeks ago committing to building the Book Cliffs Road, and the new county council is not happy with that action. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
Building a new home, First Western National Bank offers construction loans and personal service.
It is a pleasure to visit the bank. I feel like we have friends there. It's not just a business situation.
First Western National Bank has an easy loan application process with competitive rates and terms. Meet with friendly local bankers who understand your financial needs.
I'm always treated like a personal friend at First Western National Bank. I like that.
First Western National Bank, your hometown bank.
Enjoy the beauty and affordable comfort of modern flame natural gas fireplaces. Create carefree moments with your family and friends. Converting from a wood-burning stove to natural gas is easy and can save you time and money. Beautiful designer gas fireplaces feature gas or electronic ignition, high-low flame setting, 2-speed fan systems, and thermostat control. High-efficiency natural gas fireplaces are tomorrow's solution today. For more information, contact Utah Gas Company. We light a better fire.
Rim Cyclery is the hub of the action in the mountain bike capital of the world, carrying the specialized Klein and Mountain Goat brands and fully staffed with experts in mountain bike service. Rim is also your stop for camping gear and accessories and sportswear, featuring Gramici shorts and tops. Bikers, here's a simple rule. If you're gearing up, see Rim. If you've broken down, see Rim. 94 West, 100 North.
Just a few days after the new county council told the road district to stop their activities, another controversy has erupted. Here's Ken Davey with a report.
County council members say they are angered by what they consider to be manipulation and deception on the part of the Special Service Road District. At issue is an interlocal agreement with the Uinta County Special Service Road District to build the Book Cliffs Highway, an agreement the Road Board indicated had been in effect for years, but now appears to have been signed just 2 weeks ago. Exactly what is the dispute? In 1989, the two road districts decided on the road project and committed mineral lease money returned to the counties to hire an engineer to design the road and a consulting firm to prepare an environmental impact statement. But the road came under criticism, and the candidates elected at the February 9 county council election said they were against further expenditures. Those council members followed through Monday when they unanimously passed a resolution calling for a halt to the project. At that time, Road District Chairman Gene Nodine and Road District Administrator Jimmy Walker said they wondered if that was possible because of an interlocal agreement with Uinta County. The impression given was that the agreement had been long in force. But county council members were shocked to discover on Tuesday that the agreement was actually signed by Chairman Gene Nodine and witnessed by board member Jerry McNeely on February 18, 1993. That agreement states in part, quote, "Both parties fully intend to construct the subject road, subject to availability of funds and necessary approvals," unquote. In other words, after the county election that chose opponents of the road project, but before that new government had a chance to take office, the road board committed itself in writing to pursuing the road project. Channel 6 contacted Road District Administrator Jimmy Walker and Road District Chairman Gene Nodine on Wednesday morning. Both declined to be interviewed and both refused to make any statement. Board member Felix D'Amico, contacted by phone, said he was not aware that the agreement was signed in February and that he would try and find out what happened on that date. Road Board member Suzanne Mayberry, who was working Wednesday in Blanding, said she was uncomfortable with the signing taking place without her knowledge. She added that she felt it was too bad that the council and the road district could not get together and feel like they both have the interests of the county at heart. So where does it go from here? The County Council has a special meeting scheduled for Thursday morning beginning at 9 a.m. at the temporary courthouse, and the Road Board action 2 weeks ago will be part of that discussion. This is Ken Davey for Channel 6.
The County Council has a lot of other issues to deal with as well. On Wednesday morning, they met with officials of the Utah Department of Transportation for a briefing on highway projects and policies and how they affect Southeast Utah. Highways are the lifeblood of rural areas, and understanding how Grand County fits into the state plan was a major aim of the council. The new head of the Department of the Interior had good news and bad news for ranchers who use public lands. Secretary Bruce Babbitt announced Tuesday that he plans to ask Congress to increase the cost of grazing on federal lands. Right now, ranchers pay a little less than $2 per animal unit month, which is the equivalent amount of forage consumed by one cow and one calf in a month. There have been bills introduced in Congress in recent years to raise that fee, sometimes to as high as $6 per AUM. But a coalition of Western senators, including Utah's Orrin Hatch and Jake Garn, had managed to kill the proposal. But now, with the new administration, some sort of increase is expected to pass. But so far, the Interior Department says it has not yet decided on how much of an increase they will ask for. But Babbitt also said that he would institute policies that cut federal costs for those permit holders who properly manage the land and improve the range through various incentive programs. And small ranchers who worry about the future availability of grazing for their operations will be given more security for their allotments. A spokesman for the National Cattlemen's Association said that his group sees the winds of political change coming and would rather work with the federal government rather than fight it on the fee structure. This Saturday, the Moab Rotary Club holds its biggest fundraising event of the year in what has become a Moab tradition. Rotary Club Vice President Steve Patterson told Channel 6 what's going to happen.
On Saturday, we're having our annual Rotary Auction, which is the major fundraiser for the Moab Rotary Club. It's derived from donations from all the businesses and some individuals locally. There's, I think, 170 or 180 items, which should be great deals for the local community. It'll be on Channel 6. I believe it starts at 10 a.m. and goes all day till 5. And you can call in your bids to a number that'll be on the screen, and bids will keep changing. Some items will go fast and some will be up all day. There's airplane rides, there's loads of gravel, I think concrete, remodels, paintings, food. If you need it, it will be on the auction, and you should pay attention for those days.
The Rotary Auction involved dozens of Moab individuals and businesses who take on the responsibility of organizing all the aspects of the event, from acting as the on-the-air auctioneers, to handling the phones, to keeping track of the myriad of auction details. And Patterson said the proceeds go toward projects that help the community.
The Rotary Club is the largest service organization in the world. It was very instrumental at eliminating the epidemic of the 50s, polio, which I think has been very successful. Now, locally, service-oriented means we work with the school, we work with the community. Rotary Park, which is up by Red Rock School, has been one that's been advancing over the years and now is approaching a finished state other than some fencing. But it's a real nice addition to the community and should be used by a lot of people. If you haven't used it, you should go out and have a lunch there or a dinner at the picnic tables. It'll be on Channel 6 starting at 10 a.m. That's this Saturday, the 6th of March.
The Moab City Council takes another step closer to creating a city manager position. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
Alpine Air has conveniently scheduled flights from Canyonlands Airfield to Salt Lake City and Grand Junction. Whether traveling for business or pleasure, save up to 36% on airfare by planning ahead. Discount rates are available on both one-way and round-trip flights. Serving Moab for over 10 years, Alpine Air is your Moab connection.
Pick up a current copy of Moab Happenings
for the latest information on activities, dining, school events, recreation, filled with pictures and maps, and it's free. Moab Happenings.
The Moab City Council took another step closer to separating the position of mayor and city administrator Tuesday evening. The council discussed a proposed ordinance that creates the position of city manager. Currently, the mayor, an elected position, functions as the city administrator, which is an appointed position. And the current mayor, Tom Stocks, has done both of those jobs since 1984. This new ordinance, which still has to go before a public hearing in about a month, would change that, limiting the duties of the mayor to chairing meetings, making appointments of city department heads with the consent of the council, and representing the city at ceremonial events. Councilmember Terry Warner said he wanted other council members to look at the draft before sending it off to legal counsel for more review.
Had a meeting with legal counsel, and it's been tentatively reviewed legally, and it appears to be no problem with the way that it's written. And I guess where we are tonight is to ask of other council members if they have any concerns, particular to the ordinance that they'd like to have addressed.
This ordinance is a change of the government. It would make the legislative body also the administrative body, having the manager report directly to the legislative body. That is something that I would like to emphasize or bring out.
It's not officially changing the form of government. What we're proposing to do here would be a change in the administration of the city and the way that individual position would answer, as you said, directly to the governing body.
The council will most likely also consider written public comments on the change, as well as comments made at that public hearing. In other business, the City Council agreed to pass a law requiring new business in town to screen equipment stored outdoors behind opaque fences or hidden by landscaping.
In the input in the public hearing, I can't recollect where there was anything that actually pertained to commercial. There was some talk about taking away the rights and all that, but I didn't understand that. So in the input meeting, we did not get good criticism as far as I can say. I see no reason why it shouldn't be done.
I'm for it also. We did get a letter in our packet from a Main Street business owner in agreement that they thought a fence ordinance that was equal was a good idea.
Sometimes this is just cleaning up some of the ordinances where they found it to be out of sync with the others.
Paul Bynum was given his own change by a 3-2 vote to rezone his home property from commercial to residential.
I'm not for this zone change. It came out of planning at a 2-2 vote because it can be considered spot zoning.
You know, and I don't question what you're saying, Paul, but this is such a border area, and the gentleman that's requesting the zoning has explained to the council, or at least I stand corrected if it's not correct, that he has a financial problem that's faced him because of that they won't accept this commercial residential in his financial plan. For that reason, I would favor the change of zone.
The vote was tied 2-2, and the tie was broken when Mayor Tom Stocks said yes. The county building boom is underway. In addition to the courthouse renovation and the construction of the new information center, the firehouse and museum and school district are all projecting new construction in the future. And the city says its current city hall does not meet legal requirements. Stocks suggested all the government entities get together to prioritize and plan their projects.
They have discussed the possibility of expanding or enlarging their facilities, such as the library and the museum, the fire department, the hospital, the city need for new office space to come into compliance with ADA, and the police department needing additional facilities. The county is just moving into their structure, and we feel that it's probably time that we start getting together.
And Moab Hardware was given permission to keep sale bicycles out on the sidewalk in front of their store on Main Street. The law said the sidewalk must be kept clear, but the council has the option of making exceptions, and in this case, they did so.
If it were more of a problem, I mean, like for instance, in comparison, talking about the sandwich signs, and this is when this discussion came up, the sandwich signs were always placed out right on the street, right, yeah, as you say, right towards the street, out on the sidewalk. You physically had to go around them to get by them. The whole intent was to keep the sidewalks clear so that pedestrian traffic could move clearly. Quite frankly, I think probably there's some garbage cans that cause more problems than the bicycles.
The next City Council meeting is scheduled for March 16th. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues. John Fogg at Central Utah Insurance is your agent on the scene and behind the scene to make sure you get prompt, efficient response to your insurance claims. John Fogg at Central Utah Insurance, your independent insurance agent, the agent who works for you.
It's breakfast time. You're long on hunger, but short on change. What can you get for $1.89? How about this? Or this? Now it's lunch. How much you got? Lunch for $1.89? Golden Steak, your special place, every day of the week.
It was beautiful blue skies in the valley on Wednesday with more great weather on the way. Light breezes kept temperatures down, but by mid-afternoon it was up to the mid-50s. Forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for mostly clear skies through Thursday with some scattered high clouds. Look for afternoon readings into the mid-50s, overnight lows down to around 30. The long-range forecast should attract some early spring visitors down from the Wasatch Front. Look for more sunshine, light breezes, and temperatures in the mid-50s through the weekend. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Jim Kelly reporting. Officials decide to evacuate the Red Rock Elementary School when methane gas is discovered. We'll have that story when the Channel 6 News continues.
With warmer days on the way, it's time to come out of hibernation and get out and about again. And we at On the Edge want you to look your best. So why not come in and see our new spring collection in Western and sportswear and what we like to call casual elegance. We also carry a fine collection of accessories. On the Edge, a name to remember.
It's breakfast time. You're long on hunger, but short on change. What can you get for $1.89? How about this? Or this? Now it's lunch. How much you got? Lunch for $1.89? Golden Steak, your special place, every day of the week.
Hello, my name's Lynn Dish, director at Dish Funeral Home. Talking about death is often difficult. A death in the family may create problems for survivors which can sometimes be alleviated by discussion and pre-planning. We offer pre-planning counseling at no charge. Please contact me at my office for more information or to arrange for pre-planning consultation.
Red Rock Elementary School was closed Thursday as a safety precaution following the discovery of methane gas.
Elementary school students left school early on Thursday, and there will be no school on Friday. The Red Rock Elementary School was evacuated after staff noticed the strong gas odor. According to Principal Margaret Hopkin, the problem was very noticeable by mid-morning.
For the past couple of days, we've had an odor in the building. And this morning it got so bad, you know, that we decided we really needed to have it checked on. And when Mark Beeson, the head of maintenance, brought in Corky Brewer, we found that we had some sort of a leak. It appears to be small, but it's a leak in the sewer system. So we have sewer gas coming through the vents in the building.
Well, basically all we're here for is a precautionary. At this point right now, we don't know what we have. We don't want to endanger anybody's lives, our kids or the people that are going to enter this confined space. So everything that we've done, including having the school dismissed and the firefighters you see here, strictly precautionary, and we hope at the end we'll find out that we may be overreacted.
What have you found out so far?
What we've done is we're doing some air sampling right now. We've sampled for methane gas. We've sampled for low oxygen. We've also sampled for carbon monoxide.
Maintenance crews will work to repair the damage. Again, school will be closed on Friday, although teachers will be working, though they won't be at the school itself. This is Ken Davey for Channel 6.
Grand County has fired the project manager at the courthouse renovation project. That news was announced this week as one more step in the effort of the new county council to gain control of the multitude of projects the county is involved in. Dick Kohler was hired last year to be the overall project manager on the job. He has been overseeing the work by coming down from Salt Lake City to meet with the company hired to oversee the construction phase of the work. But according to County Council Chairman Charlie Peterson, the council has decided to end that arrangement.
Bill Benj, on my direction, issued a notice to terminate his contract. His contract calls for 7 days written notice, and we have sent that notice. Because I first met with Dick a couple months ago before I was ever elected to this office, and Dick, I think you have to go back in history, and I think that the people involved tried to do what they thought was right. I think the former commission hired Dick to be project manager because there wasn't a project manager here, and the county doesn't have that kind of competence. The problem now we see is that we have a project manager, but he lives in Salt Lake, and it's our feeling we need somebody closer to the job who can catch up and understand what's going on here, who is on site.
The county has borrowed about $3.9 million from the Community Impact Board for the renovation work, and many residents were concerned when the former county commission announced the county would be its own contractor, taking on the financial responsibility for any cost overruns. But Peterson says he thinks the job will be completed within budget.
I think the project's going to come in reasonably close to budget and reasonably close to the target date. I'm not sure I know what the target date is right now. There's a lot of confusion over that. As far as where are we now, I went over there last night and met with the superintendent for quite a while. We went over every line item on his proposal, 51 items, item by item on his schedule of values and on his draw request. And I am trying to understand right now the makeup and the nature of each item. Some of those are estimates, some of those are fixed contracts, some of those are spent to date. And I think once we understand the makeup of those line items, then we'll know where the project stands.
Front, is this project under control?
It's getting under control. I think it's getting under better control.
Was it ever out of control?
I think if you look back at the concept of having a construction manager and a project manager and an architect, when when the concept is to try and save money and hire other people to control it. A lot of them were off-site. There's a perception that it's been out of control, and yet what was tried by the commission was to hire these people to keep it under control. I think it's under better control as we understand more about it. I think it needs to have good on-site control. I think Knight Brothers is doing a good job doing that, but it's not a conventional way of building a building. There's no general contract, so you don't have a general contractor who's responsible for the bottom line. We are the owners. All of the people of this county are the owner-builder.
Local artists get ready for the new year. We'll have that story plus a new feature, the Backcountry Show with Global Expeditions, when the Channel 6 News continues.
Enhance your life by learning. Register now for a class at the College of Eastern Utah in Moab. CEU offers a variety of classes you can apply to a degree, broaden your interests, or just keep up with the changing world around you. Give yourself a new direction. Register for a class now.
Electricity is like your teacher at school. Everything that it does is to help you, but don't try and push your luck. A good thing to know is to stay at least 10 feet away from power lines. Electricity can be either over your head or down underneath the ground. But the good stuff it does is in between with you and me. How do you think they watch TV before they have power? It's not hard. You just have to be careful.
Building a new home, First Western National Bank offers construction loans and personal service.
It is a pleasure to visit the bank. I feel like we have friends there. It's not just a business situation.
First Western National Bank has an easy loan application process with competitive rates and terms. Meet with friendly local bankers who understand your financial needs.
I'm always treated like a personal friend at First Western National Bank, and I like that.
First Western National Bank, your hometown bank. The beginning of spring means warmer weather, more outdoor activities, and more people in town. And for local artists, it means the beginning of another season of shows and exhibits. And the first big event takes place this weekend with the Break Into Spring Art Show at the Mark II Gallery, aka Ruby's. The show runs through the middle of April, and according to gallery manager Renee Newman-Ruth, it features a wide variety of local art talent.
We've got 30 local artists displaying a wide variety of different kinds of medium. We've got photographers, acrylic painters, oil painters, carvers, musicians. We invited a wide range to show the community what kind of a wonderful artisan community Moab is turning into.
The Break Into Spring show is the first of 7 scheduled this year by the gallery, and it's a good introduction to some of the talented people who live in Moab.
This is our first invitational show where we get a chance to really feature the wonderful artists that the gallery has worked with, and we have also reached out into the community to bring in other local artists and to show the community what we have.
This Saturday evening, the gallery will host a special reception for the artists, and the public is invited. That gets underway at 7 p.m. in the Western Plaza. Bright blue skies stayed in the valley on Thursday with afternoon temperatures climbing into the mid-50s, and look for great weather through the weekend. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for sunny skies and thermometer readings climbing up into the 60-degree mark. Expect big crowds over the weekend as Wasatch Front residents are expected to drive down and take advantage of the sunshine and mercury readings staying near 60 degrees. Up next is a new feature here on Channel 6, the Backcountry Show with Global Expeditions, when we return.
Hurry down to Family Drug for fast, friendly service. Professional pharmacist Michael Gorman is better serving your family's health needs with computerized key patient profiles. Your patient profile is reviewed for possible allergic reaction or drug interaction problems each time you fill a prescription at Family Drug. Senior citizen discounts are available on prescription drug purchases, and insurance cards are always welcome.
family drug where courtesy is contagious.
When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza.
Guide services vary in their approach toward the customer. Some companies literally drag you up the mountain. Other companies offer less than desirable accommodations with cuisine that is below standard. Are you ready for a change? Then ski into the Global Expeditions Yurt System. Global Yurts provide deluxe accommodations in the beautiful LaSalle Mountains where the skiing is excellent and the views unsurpassed. For information on guided and unguided yurt trips, call Global Expeditions today.
And now it's the Backcountry Show with Global Expeditions.
Hi, I'm Connie Blaine. This is the first in a series on backcountry skiing. We'll be talking about equipment, ski technique, avalanche awareness, and some of the backcountry facilities available in our area. So let's get started.
Hi, my name is Allison Kennedy. Let's visit a while about equipment, appropriate clothing for skiing, what you should bring in your day pack, and what first aid items you should have on hand. Let's start with skis. Skis range from very wide to very narrow. This is a narrow ski that is used for track skiing. It has no side cut, which means it's the same width from the tip to the tail of the ski, and it has a groove so that it tracks straight. Camber is the amount of spring that exists in the middle of a ski. This ski has double camber, so you can kick and glide easily. To determine the length of a double camber ski that is appropriate for you, reach up with your arm and the ski tip should hit your wrist. This is a very wide ski that has a lot of side cut, which means that it is wider at the tip and the tail of the ski than in the middle. It has a shallow groove to aid in turning and has only a single camber. It is made for skiing out of the track in the backcountry. This ski also has metal edges to prevent the ski from slipping sideways, providing grip on hard-packed snow and ice. To determine the length of a single camber ski, the ski should hit about 15 to 25 centimeters lower than your wrist. Bindings come in different shapes depending upon their use. Racing and light touring bindings come in 50 millimeter and Solomon toe clips. Medium and telemark come in 3-pin and cable form. Ski poles are pretty basic. Bamboo or fiberglass poles work just fine. Measuring poles for touring is done by placing the pole on the ground, and the handle should come up under the armpit. For downhill skiing, some people want shorter poles that put the skier in a comfortable downhill stance. Boots come in different shapes depending upon their use. We have light touring boots used primarily for track skiing and some out-of-track skiing, medium touring boots for out-of-track skiing, and telemark boots for serious backcountry and mountaineering skiing. When you are going out skiing, there is some basic equipment that you should have with you. We like to say that people should remember the 6 P's. Proper prior planning prevents poor performance. Thinking about what you should have with you while you are skiing will prevent any unwanted surprises. For a basic ski tour, you will want to have these items: a day pack, at least 1 quart of water, food that will provide energy, waxes for waxable skis, including a scraper and a cork, a small repair kit, which would include duct tape, baling wire, parachute cord, screws for bindings, steel wool for packing binding holes, and a Posi-Drive screwdriver, an extra ski tip, an extra basket for your poles, and a first aid kit that might have in it sunscreen and lip balm of at least number 15, items for blisters such as moleskin and adhesive tape, an ace bandage for ankles or knees, and a triangular bandage for a broken arm. What you wear while skiing is very important. The layering of your clothing is a system that has worked for skiers for a long time. Fashions have changed, but the basic concept of layering remains the same. Layering allows you to adjust your core temperature depending upon the conditions that prevail. Next to your skin, you should wear wool or polypropylene long underwear. Both of these fabrics insulate your body when they are wet, and polypropylene will wick moisture away from your skin. Cotton, however, will retain the moisture and hold it next to your skin, which is good when it is hot outside, but bad in the winter. Even if you have on plenty of layers, a cotton layer next to your skin will keep you cold. A wool shirt and pants or pile sweater and pants and wool socks make a good next layer. An outer layer that is windproof will ensure that you stay warm when it is windy. 2 pairs of socks will help alleviate blister problems. Polypro socks next to your skin will help keep your feet warmer by transporting the moisture into your outer sock layer, and also Polypro socks provide less friction than other socks. Your outer pair of socks should be wool. We lose a considerable amount of our body heat through the top of our head, so a wool or a pile hat is a good idea. You can adjust your body temperature by putting on or taking off your hat. Gloves or mittens keep your hands warm. A scarf or a neck gaiter keeps your neck warm. And finally, gaiters keep the snow out of your boots. Hopefully, I've provided you with some tips on how to gear up for skiing comfortably in the backcountry. Join us next week for Fun on the Snow. I'm Allison Kennedy for Global Expeditions.
And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Jim Kelly, reminding you to keep on smiling.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. A sewer break at the Red Rock School keeps students at home for at least one day. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
Building a new home, First Western National Bank offers construction loans and personal service.
It is a pleasure to visit the bank. I feel like we have friends there. It's not just a business situation.
First Western National Bank has an easy loan application process with competitive rates and terms. Meet with friendly local bankers who understand your financial needs.
I'm always treated like a personal friend at First Western National Bank, and I like that.
First Western National Bank, your hometown bank.
Enjoy the beauty and affordable comfort of modern flame natural gas fireplaces. Create carefree moments with your family and friends. Converting from a wood-burning stove to natural gas is easy and can save you time and money. Beautiful designer gas fireplaces feature gas or electronic ignition, high-low flame setting, 2-speed fan systems, and thermostat control. High-efficiency natural gas fireplaces are tomorrow's solution today. For more information, contact Utah Gas Company. We light a better fire.
B. Osborne's is the most complete bookstore in southeast Utah. Your complete bookstore for magazines, books, maps, special orders from anywhere, magazines from Europe, newspapers from major cities of the U.S. Need a special gift for that person on your list who is hard to please? Get a gift certificate from B. Osborne's and let them please themselves. B. Osborne's Books and Magazines, 50 South Main in Moab, your bookstore and more.
The Red Rock Elementary School was closed on Friday, and school officials aren't sure when it will open again. That was the word from Principal Margaret Hopkin Friday. The school was evacuated Thursday after methane gas was found on the site. Children were sent home as a precaution while maintenance crews went to work to find out what the problem was.
Well, we found that we do indeed have a sewer leak like we thought we had, and it's about a 5-foot break. It's a little more extensive than we thought, and maintenance is working like crazy to get it repaired, but at this point it's around, what, noon Friday? We don't know yet about Monday. I really encourage everybody in town to keep in touch with each other, watch TV or listen to the radio. We'll try to scroll on television what's going on and keep people updated on the radio.
The break is large, but Hopkins says some sort of leak has been around for a long time.
Had just a real faint smell on and off for a couple of years and have not been able to locate it. I think it's because it's way down somewhere deep in the structure of the building. It's just now gotten to the point where it's obviously broken. You know, it's not just some little leak somewhere.
So when will school be open again? Hopkins says the administration isn't sure.
I hope that the parents will stay in real close touch with each other, and we'll keep Dinah McCandless, the PTA president, informed. The PTA's been great in terms of getting the word out to parents and getting classroom lists with phone numbers.
The evacuation on Thursday went smoothly as parents were notified and children were not lost in the shuffle. But Hopkins added that she will work to have the school and parents working together in case of future school disruptions.
So one thing this has really taught us is that it's real important for every parent, no matter the grade level of the student, to have an emergency plan in place at home if the student does come home early like this. Many of the parents did have some kind of a system in place, but we're learning now that at the beginning of the year, as we talk to parents, we're going to encourage parents to have emergency plans if the student comes home from school early. You know, what they should do, who they should call, where they should go, and that'd be real helpful.
And over the weekend, Channel 6 will have on the roller announcements about whether or not school will be held on Monday. The clear skies and warm afternoons expected over the next few days means we can expect an influx of visitors this weekend. With the mountains still covered with snow, but the lower valley clear and dry, recreation activities range from cross-country skiing to hiking and biking, and a number of local businesses are expecting a big crowd.
The visitors are young people on spring break from Canada, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, all those states are starting to arrive. They've got spring break going on there. And we're having families visiting from Salt Lake, Denver, and those areas getting away from the snow and the cold for a while.
I think we're going to be real busy. I think we'll be busier than we were last year. Even with the economy in Europe being the way it is, a little down, I think people are going to be traveling more in the country still. The German dollar is still real strong. That's a lot of my people who come in here are the Europeans. Visitor center going across next door is going to be bring people down here, focus the downtown center. And this is the main walking district of Moab.
Most seasonal businesses are now open, and the tourist year is expected to be the largest ever. Congressman Bill Orton has entered the fray over filming in southern Utah. The congressman issued a statement calling on the Clinton administration to issue new emergency regulations to loosen the restrictions on film projects because he says current rules are, quote, stifling the film industry in southern Utah, unquote. Last month, the BLM announced they would enforce rules requiring waiting periods of up to 45 days for all film projects to allow for public study and comment. The local film commission is working to get the federal government to pass new rules to remove that waiting period, but the regular process could take months. Orton says he wants the Secretary of the Interior to push forward more quickly by issuing emergency rulings. The county council tries to figure out where the county is headed and what they have to do to get there. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
The
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city. An established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
Pick up a current copy of Moab Happenings for the latest information on activities, dining, school events, recreation, filled with pictures and maps, and it's free. Moab Happenings.
The County Council will take some time to look at exactly where the county stands now and where they want to go. The group held a long discussion Thursday about their perspectives on how to deal with the myriad of current problems and at the same time to the advanced planning needed to take care of the future. Current construction projects, ongoing litigation, a system of boards and councils so widespread nobody seems exactly sure how many there are, all now confront the 7 members who must administrate and legislate for county residents. According to council members, and especially council chairman Charlie Peterson, there's a long way to go before they can gain control of the situation.
That the county is in is less better managed now than it was on the 22nd of February. You know, that there are more loose ends to deal with, that there are more things undone. Nevertheless, there are administrative matters that are not being taken care of. And we don't even know what they are. And we find out more about them every day. I think, and what I'm saying is that there are more things coming up that are not being attended to than are being attended to.
Say that most of the things facing us administratively have a 6-month timeline. You know, they will be dealt with and gone with in 6 months, one way or another.
Well, see, and you and I have talked about this before, and I disagree. I think that the way we're going now, there will be more 6 months from now than there are now to deal with. You know, because there are things.
What projects do you have in mind?
I don't know what the mail is going to deliver today. I'm not talking about projects. I have no intention of starting any more projects. That we cannot deal 7 people with every item the way the former commission dealt with it. I am not willing to be a single administrator as were previous chairmen and try and accomplish all of these things myself. That's been the case in the past. That is, I think, one of the reasons that we're struggling with a lot of things we're struggling with now.
We won't be doing our job right until we get to the point where we're actually, you know, we have goals and plans, and then we're deciding, okay, we have this much money, how do we divide that money up in order to accomplish the most important things to get to where we want to be. We know, you know, what our options are and what the costs and benefits of doing all those things are. On the other hand, right now we have this feeling of panic about constantly learning about new things and going, oh, I knew nothing about that, wow, you know, and there's a decision coming up in 2.5 minutes.
I think we are at a point where we should define the hot spots, whether it's 2 or 4 or 6, and then prioritize those hot spots. And I don't think we need to attend board meetings right away.
And there are some very capable people who have been performing their jobs. It's just that whether we talk about Fran or Tammy or Jeff, you know, or whoever, they are doing things the way they have always been done. And the way it has always been done, I don't think is working very well. And we have a real dilemma in that there is no one overall in charge. And I'm not making a pitch now for a county administrator, don't get me wrong, but there certainly is a need for someone to be in charge.
But I think Fran and Peggy and Judy and all of the rest of the people in the courthouse don't know who they're supposed to take direction from, what kind of direction they're supposed to take. I think they're as confused as we are in many respects, because Paul may go in and say one thing, and John may come in 2 hours later and say something else, and who do they follow?
And that's our fault.
That's
You know,
our fault.
we have to take that, that blame.
We've been, what, one meeting, official? And I kind of felt overwhelmed last Monday in the sense that, you know, like say if the road board said you can't make a decision for us, but you've got BLM saying we need a decision from you. And we're going, you know, what do we do? The perception out there in some of the public that didn't particularly support the change in government is we get 7 people up there that don't know what they're doing. And I guess in a lot of ways, they're right.
I'll admit that.
They're right. You know,
By the end of the discussion, the council decided to divide their tasks into 3 categories. The first are immediate problems, such as getting on top of the county's construction projects, the Book Cliffs Road controversy, problems with county responsibility for its disposal pits, and the landfill question. The second category are other county issues not as pressing but sure to become issues over the next few months. And the third category is long-term planning. The Grand County Travel Council wants to know what residents think of them. The council is planning a major discussion of their function, aims, and goals, and how local residents want them to spend the transient room tax revenues.
The objective and the purpose of this is to get input so that we can find out if there's things in the community and ideas they have that can help us in compiling our business plan. If they have any information out there that can give us a better feel for the marketing that we ought to be doing, targeting of our promotions, just what their feeling is generally about a variety of issues as far as what we ought to be doing as a business.
So the council will put out the survey and mail it to a number of businesses involved in the tourist industry. And other residents can pick up a copy of the survey at the visitor center. The high school drill team is on the move. They head off to Cedar City for state competition after qualifying in 2 drill divisions at the regional meet last weekend. They'll be performing their prop and novelty routines at Southern Utah University under the direction of advisor Cindy Brewer, and Channel 6 joins with the rest of the county in wishing them good luck. The Lauren Kahn Puppet Show will be here in Moab Saturday. The show regularly comes to Moab on a swing through the region, and it's a special delight for children of all ages. The show goes on Saturday evening at 7:30 at Star Hall. And volleyball fans might want to drop by the high school for the women's A and B divisions of the Canyonlands Volleyball Tournament Friday and Saturday. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
Hello, my name is Lynn Dish, Director at Dish Funeral Home. Talking about death is often difficult. A death in the family may create problems for survivors which can sometimes be alleviated by discussion and pre-planning. We offer pre-planning counseling at no charge. Please contact me at my office for more information or to arrange for pre-planning consultation.
When you are making a list of the greatest achievements of this century, please consider Subway's 79-cent round sandwiches. We have taken the great taste of Subway, including our fresh baked bread, and made it round. So it's highly portable and highly affordable with a low, low, low price of 79 cents. While this great achievement may not change your life as much as the Clapper, our round sandwiches certainly do taste better, and you can get one for only 79 cents.
Introducing the round sandwiches for as low as 79 cents only at Subway.
It was a great day in the valley on Friday with temperatures in the mid-50s, and look for a beautiful weekend coming up. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for sunshine, variable high clouds with thermometer readings in the mid-50s, overnight lows down to around 30 degrees. If you're planning to be out in the canyons, bring something warm as there could be some cool north winds through the weekend. Long-range forecast calls for sunshine in mid-50s through Tuesday. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day. Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Local film officials attend the Location Expo in Hollywood and say the future looks good. And the Rotary auction is a big success. We'll have those stories when Channel 6 News continues.
Electricity is like your teacher at school. Everything that it does is to help you, but don't try and push your luck. A good thing to know is to stay at least 10 feet away from power lines. Electricity can be either over your head or down underneath the ground. But the good stuff it does is in between with you and me. How do you think they watch TV before they have power? It's not hard. You just have to be careful.
Pick up a current copy of Moab Happenings for the latest information on activities, dining, school events, recreation, filled with pictures and maps, and it's free. Moab Happenings.
Building a new home, First Western National Bank offers construction loans and personal service.
It is a pleasure to visit the bank. I feel like we have friends there. It's not just a business situation.
First Western National Bank has an easy loan application process with competitive rates and terms. Meet with friendly local bankers who understand your financial needs.
I'm always treated like a personal friend at First Western National Bank, and I like that.
First Western National Bank, your hometown bank.
Look for continued busy times for the local film industry. That's the view of Moab Film Commission Executive Director Betty Stanton. She just returned from Location Expo, where she spoke with directors and producers of motion pictures and commercials about using Moab as a location for projects.
All of the film commissions from around the world get together, and it's a trade show for locations where they're selling locations. And it's generally done in connection with the American film market, so that you have all the people that come in for that too, and then they can benefit by both at the same time.
What was the response to locations around here?
I think we're becoming more popular and more well known all the time, and nobody much has anything that can compare to us. I think that an outstanding thing this year is that we had even more people who had been here before come by to say hello. You did a wonderful job for us, and we're trying to find a project we can get back with. The fact that we keep getting an increase in our return customers is a very good sign.
What does that portend for the near future? Do you see that the film industry growing over the next year?
Yes, I do, providing that's what the community wants here. You know, I mean, we don't want to do what the community doesn't want, but this last issue over the Regulation 2920, I found that interesting because some days I wondered, you know, whether we had the support for film here or not. And it was like people came out of the woodwork to support the film industry, so that was quite enlightening that there are people here who do care about the film industry.
The biggest project coming here is Geronimo, a Columbia Pictures release directed by Walter Hill, who made 48 Hours and a host of other major films. The project will bring in hundreds of people, as well as providing work for locals.
things they'll do is start construction, and to eliminate the land problem, they have found private land upon which to build the fort, and that will be one of the first things they start. I think they've got a way station or a stage station also that has to be built. So this will provide jobs for local construction people, and then they will also be hiring other people for miscellaneous crew and extras when it gets down to that point. The film, the pre-production will start within a couple of weeks as far as the construction goes, and then they will film between May and August, which is a lot of coverage here.
The Film Commission has enlisted the help of Utah's congressional delegation to push for speedy passage of new regulations on public lands to ease time restrictions on film permits. In the last few years, commercials have outnumbered theatrical films in Moab, but Stanton says that might be changing based on her conversations with producers at the Location Expo.
I think that probably 75 to 80% were for feature movies, which is unusual because it's generally just in reverse, and it's that high a percent for commercials. But I'm not counting all of the people from the different companies that film the commercials that came by and said, we don't need material, we know what you've got, and we're trying to get back. Those I didn't count.
The Film Commission works with film companies in Moab and also provides lists of local talent for everything from advanced scouts to carpenters, actors, and extras. And if you would like to get on their list, you can drop by the Film Commission office in the Western Plaza Shopping Center. The fire department wants to hear from you on their plans to expand the downtown facilities. The Fire Commission has scheduled a public hearing Tuesday afternoon beginning at 4 p.m. at the firehouse, and they hope local residents will let them know what they think about borrowing about $350,000 for the plan, according to Fire Chief Corky Brewer.
Total plan is to purchase the property next door to the existing fire station, add some facilities, and a training center.
And what information are you looking for from the public?
Tomorrow, the fire district commissioners are going to be looking at basically whether it's supported to proceed to the vote that would be scheduled for April 20th.
Right now, Brewer says the department doesn't have the room they need, both for their equipment and for training facilities. The land next door to the south could be used to meet fire department needs for the next few decades, and if the public indicates they want to see that expansion, a bond referendum will go to the ballot in April.
Well, I really hope that the public will come in and will show their support, give us some more ideas as to the direction they would like to see us go. I really would like to see the public get involved in this.
A couple of people around town are saying, before we have this vote, we'd like to see site plans, we'd like to see drawings and designs. What is the situation regarding that?
Well, we will have available some conceptual type drawings. We have not gone to an engineering firm at this point. The district commissioners and myself feel like after we go to the vote and the public wants us to proceed with this, that we will hire an engineering firm to come in and do the proper drawings for it.
The fire department says approving the money is only the first part for the public in planning the new facilities.
After the April 20th vote, if we're successful, we would like for the public's input on things such as landscaping, what the facilities are going to look like, anything that involves the aesthetics of this property.
So will you be having public meetings and hearings?
Sure, we'll have as many public hearings as needed, as well as you can just stop in and look at what we've got planned and comment right to us.
Once again, that public hearing on the fire department expansion plans is Tuesday afternoon, March the 9th, beginning at 4 p.m. at the Moab Firehouse on First East. Residents make the Rotary auction one of the most successful ever, and the Moab City looks at a new city hall. We'll have those stories when Channel 6 News continues.
It's breakfast time. You're long on hunger, but short on change. What can you get for $1.89? How about this? Or this? Now it's lunch. How much you got? Lunch for $1.89? Golden Steak, your special place, every day of the week.
When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza.
Services will be held Friday for former Moab resident Judge Donald D. Christ, who died Saturday in Houston, Texas. He was 61 years of age. He was a city judge from 1962 to 1978 and then was appointed as circuit court judge until his retirement in 1986. He is survived by his wife Joanne Christ of Moab and by children Sherry Williamson of Texas, Bo Christ of California, Jerry Wayne Christ of Washington, and Michael Christ of Moab, as well as by 2 grandchildren, 2 brothers, and 1 sister. A viewing will be held Thursday evening from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Dish Funeral Home. Services will take place Friday afternoon at 1 p.m. at the Community Baptist Church, followed by interment at Sunset Memorial Cemetery. Moab City is looking at a new city hall, and it could cost taxpayers a bundle. That was the discussion at a special city council workshop last week where members looked at their alternatives. According to federal law, the city has only a few years to come up with a plan to provide better access for the public. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, government buildings must be accessible to people in wheelchairs and with other mobility problems. According to City Building Inspector Pete Johnson, the current City Hall is nowhere near meeting those standards.
This building we're in right now is not accessible. It doesn't meet the current codes, and that's why they're building a new state liquor store, state office buildings, the courthouse and jail, trying to bring these things into compliance with the new federal law. It's not something I enforce, but I'm just advising them. And honestly, I mean, we get the elderly, physically handicapped, whatever disability someone might have. This building really can't accommodate them. I mean, the entry to the building, the stairs to get to the folks upstairs, it's not accessible. And we've had people in town complain that they couldn't climb the stairs. There's architectural barriers in this building, the width of the hallway, the access to the bathrooms, the dimensions. We have an illegal meeting room in the basement because it's not accessible. It doesn't have the proper exiting, and so really our building's not equipped to handle these new laws. Everything's basically an architectural barrier, and what you need to do is remove those barriers so that everyone has the opportunity to receive what everyone else is getting.
The council says Johnson is looking at a couple of alternatives.
There's probably 3 or 4 different approaches. One would be to build a new building. One would be to see if they're going to have a conversation with the new county council, see if there's any room in the existing building, the new building across the street. Another approach could be to try to renovate this building, which would be costly, or maybe finding an existing building in town that already was close that they could move into that would meet all their needs. But there's very few buildings in town that would even come close. So I don't think that that's a very viable option right now. I think they're really looking at either sharing with the county or building a new building. I don't think they have much other choice.
A preliminary survey of city departments shows that they believe they need somewhere around 9,000 square feet of space, building in some extra room for possible city expansion. And based on construction estimates of about $55 per square foot, the city would need at least $500,000 and maybe a lot more to build that structure. Where could they put it? Right now, they could use the current City Hall site, or they could make a deal with the school district, which is planning to build a new middle school near the high school, or they could look for other land. In addition, the city has to look at the same standards for other buildings, including the Stuntman's Hall of Fame. On top of plans for water and sewer replacement and expansion, the legal need for a new city hall could end up costing the taxpayers. So council members say they will be very careful and make sure the public is involved in the planning process. It was one of the most successful Rotary auctions ever. Rotary Club members staffed the telephones, performed as on-air auctioneers, and kept a close eye on the thousands of dollars worth of items being auctioned off, ranging from motor oil to meals and overnight accommodations. The Rotary auction has become an annual spring event, and according to Ken Curtis, it was a big success.
Really exciting. We're having a lot of activity down here, a lot of people calling in bids. We have a lot of great items this year. We have over $9,000 in items that we've received so far this year, and the activity's going hot and heavy. We're getting a lot of active bids, and we're getting a good return on the value of the items that's been donated.
The Rotary Club provides services used throughout the community, and Curtis said the proceeds from the auction will be put to good use.
This is our primary fundraiser, and some of the activities we're involved in is a bicycle safety program, Moab Rotary Park, Sea Haven, we've donated a number of years, flagpole at the new multi-agency visitor center, graduation party, a whole multitude of items is what this money is used for, all within the community of Moab.
And the club wants to thank all local merchants who donated goods and services for the auction. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
Enhance your life by learning. Register now for a class at the College of Eastern Utah in Moab. CEU offers a variety of classes you can apply to a degree, broaden your interests, or just keep up with the changing world around you. Give yourself a new direction. Register for a class now.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
It was a beautiful spring day in Moab on Monday with afternoon temperatures up into the mid-60s. And look for some clouds, but still nice weather the next few days. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for partly cloudy skies with some haze on Tuesday. Look for afternoon readings in the upper 60s, overnight lows down to around the freezing mark. And by Wednesday, expect some scattered clouds, readings still staying in the 60s. By the end of the week, a storm is expected to pass over the state, bringing a chance of rain on Friday. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day.